Hi guys. So today we're going to be talking about Chapter 11, Lesson 3. We're on page 422. We're going to be talking about homeostasis. Okay, so homeostasis is actually, it's a way for our body to, despite of its external conditions, it's the condition in which the body's internal environment is kept stable in spite of all of the changes. So we're not just talking about like your body temperature. Homeostasis also has to do with the amount of water that you have in your body, the amount of sugar in your blood, the amount of salt in body cells, the different chemical makeups of the cells. And the reason why your body must be kept stable is because a lot of times certain chemical processes or chemical reactions have to rely or they can only take place in a specifically balanced environment. So your internal organs and your internal body structures and your internal body temperatures and all of those things, they have to be pretty specific, okay? All of your body systems work together to maintain homeostasis. It's not just your nervous system. It's not just your respiratory system. It's not just your, your skeletal or muscular system. All body systems work to maintain this homeostasis, okay? So a way for maintaining this homeostasis is kind of like a good word for it is called a negative feedback system. Okay, so a negative feedback system or mechanism, this usually means it's maintaining homeostasis. And so a negative feedback system, it's called that because once the body senses an internal or external change, it activates a process. So it activates sweating, it activates shivering, it activates some type of process that reverses the change. So, for example, if the external change is a decrease in temperature, external change, right? If it gets cold, if it gets below freezing, what happens internally? Well, typically what happens internally is your temperature starts to drop. So once that internal temperature starts to drop, your brain and nervous system sends a signal to activate this negative feedback mechanism. It tells the body that it needs to shiver, it needs to create heat. So the cold environment causes the body temperature to drop. Your nervous system directs muscles to begin shivering. And then the heat from the shivering starts warming your body. And then the nervous system directs muscles to stop shivering. So that's kind of like a negative feedback system. It sends messages to the appropriate body system to initiate some type of change or reverse the change. An example of that would kind of be like your thermostat in your house. So you set your thermostat at a specific temperature, so like 72 degrees. And then if it goes below 72 degrees, your heater turns on so that it can raise the temperature to 72. Okay, so there was the external conditions changed, and so the thermostat said, you need to come on because we need to have it at 72. If the room temperature goes up or rises above the set one, then it stays. If it rises above, then your air conditioning flips on. Okay, so that is kind of like a negative feedback system. It's kind of like the triggering mechanism that makes your body regulate your temperature. If you're hungry, you start to eat, right? Once you eat, you start feeling full. Once you feel full, you stop eating. Okay? If you're thirsty, maintaining water balance. Life depends on water. So all the chemical reactions to keep you alive happen within the watery environment of the cell. So if your body needs more water, what is it going to tell you? It's going to make you feel thirsty. So you'll drink the water, and then it'll pass through your digestive system, your excretory system, all those different body systems. Your excess water leaves your body through sweat. If it gets too hot, sweat. So the ability, it's kind of like your stimulus and response, basically. So you're stimulated, you feel something, and then you respond to it. Same thing with your body systems. There's a stimulus, and then it responds. Okay? Kind of as a follow-up to what we were talking about today, I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about stress. Okay, so stress is a reaction of the body. It's a reaction to some type of physical or possibly threatening situation, a challenging situation, sometimes an uncomfortable event. But you have to realize that stress isn't always negative. Stress is actually a normal physical response to upsetting, challenging things. Some stress is actually helpful. It prepares the body to meet a particular situation with focus, determination, heightened alertness. You're more alert as to what is going on. It actually gives you strength. It gives you stamina. When stress lasts too long and disrupts your homeostasis, disrupts those balances in your body, that's when it becomes a problem. Okay? There are certain events that might bring out these stressors, okay? So stressors can be anything from like taking a test, reading out loud. I mean, that can sometimes be pretty stressful for some people. Or just outright danger, if you're in danger or whatever, it's going to release these stressors. And the hormone, we discussed this already, adrenaline and cortisol are released into the bloodstream. Okay, so when these things, adrenaline is released into the bloodstream, what happens is that you have an increased breathing rate, you have an increased heart rate, your blood pressure starts shooting up, you have a lot of energy, your pupils get dilated. Okay, so those are all things that happen when somebody is stressed out. When the stressor is removed, when you're not taking the test anymore, or when you're done with all your homework, or when the stressor is removed, your body actually returns back to normal. Okay, so is an event that is very stressful to you necessarily the same to a classmate? This is the problem that I think that a lot of people struggle with, is that they may see something not stressful, but to somebody else it is. Okay, so people perceive stress a lot differently. When you have stresses and when there's a chemical imbalance and when you have this ongoing stress, it can actually disrupt your body's ability to fight diseases. So it can cause depression, it can cause headaches, digestion problems, heart problems, health issues. So managing stress is very important. Today we talked about some ways to manage stress. We talked about taking a hike, eating good foods, staying healthy, having a sense of humor, reading a book, listening to calming music, just going away and into your room and just kind of being by yourself and meditating and yoga. So the immune system, so speaking of which, the immune system is actually a group of cells that go and fight off, it defends the body against disease-causing agents. It goes and fights off all these diseases, okay? So what happens to homeostasis when bacteria and viruses invade the body, your homeostasis gets disrupted, okay? So as soon as your homeostasis gets disrupted, the immune system goes into action. So if you're stressed, again, it can weaken your immune system. I think just and that's really what homeostasis is. So again, homeostasis is necessary for an organism's proper functioning and survival. All of your body systems work together to maintain this homeostasis and keep the body in balance. The body responses that maintain homeostasis in the face of changes in the external conditions include shivering, sweating, being hungry, being thirsty. Okay, so in each of these cases, the nervous system, the endocrine system, all those things respond to the changes in the body's internal environment and control processes. Again, stress is the reaction of the body to possible threatening, challenging, or uncomfortable events. Some stress is normal and healthy, and when stress is over, the body returns back to its normal condition. However, too much negative stress can be unhealthy. Homeostasis can be disrupted by ongoing stress. Thus, managing stress is important to being healthy. When homeostasis is maintained, a person is healthy. When homeostasis is out of balance, then your immune system comes in and fights off those infections. So I hope that you learned a little bit about homeostasis and how your body stays in balance, and that it's not just one body system, but a lot. Your homework is to finish your Chapter 11, Lesson 3 bookwork. If you have any questions, write them down, bring them to class, and we'll talk about it. Have a great evening. Oh, and don't forget your vocab, the Lesson 3 vocab.